Hey everyone, it's Wendy from Cinnamon Sweet Shop, and I'm making another very exciting recipe today. Not one, not two, but 3 nut clusters. That's right, 3 nuts, simple to make, only a handful of ingredients. So what I have here is, it's a combination of 1.5 cups of coarsely chopped nuts. So I divided it up between pecan nuts, or as we say here in Pennsylvania, pecan nuts, lightly salted peanuts, and some coarsely chopped cashew nuts as well. Now, if you want to use all one nut, go ahead. If you want to use 4 different nuts, go ahead. If you want to buy one of those mixed nut bags and use that, go ahead as well. It's your nut clusters, not mine. I also have some caramel cubes, and honestly the hardest part of making this was unwrapping each one individually. Get the kids to do that. Here I have 30 of these. I have 2 tablespoons of heavy cream. You could probably use a non-dairy milk such as almond milk, a full fat. I have 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and I'm going to drizzle with the top with some chocolate. So I have about 1/2 cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips, and I will be adding either a little bit of oil or some shortening to thin it out. If you want to use baking chocolate, that's probably even better. You don't have to thin that out. Now you're also going to need a baking sheet and some parchment paper, or you could even use one of those silicone liners. I also have a cookie scoop that I'm going to spray with some canola oil. If you don't have a cookie scoop, you can use a tablespoon. You can even use your hand. You just want to make sure you have some vegetable oil or some cooking spray on hand, because this will get very, very sticky. I'm going to begin by putting the nuts together in a larger bowl and just mixing them together so that they'll be even in the clusters. At a medium to medium high heat, I'm going to put the caramels into the pan, add the cream, and I'm going to let them melt. When the caramels are completely melted and the mixture is very smooth looking and creamy looking, I'm going to remove it from the heat. And I'm going to add in the vanilla extract and mix that in thoroughly. And now while it's still hot, I'm just going to add in all of the nuts and gently fold it in. Now, if you like your clusters a little less nutty and more caramelly, just use a few more caramels. Make sure your scoop has a lot of vegetable spray on it. And I'm just going to scoop out some of the clusters and just lay them in there, down on the cookie sheet. I'm going to let these cool off completely. I may even put them in the refrigerator to have them cool a little quicker. Then I'm going to come back and drizzle some really good chocolate on them. To melt the chocolate, I have a pot with about 1 inch of water on. It's on medium low, in between there, at a very light simmer. And in a separate metallic bowl, I'm going to make a double boiler. I have the chocolate and the shortening on top, and I'm just going to keep mixing this until it melts completely. Now you could use the microwave oven to do this as well. It's a lot quicker in the microwave. And make sure you have your chocolate in a microwave safe bowl, and that you put the chocolate on 30-second intervals. That take it out in between, mix it real well, and if it still needs to be melted a little more, put it either on anywhere from 15-second to 20-second intervals from there. Chocolate is a very fussy ingredient. It could burn from seconds if it's on too long. So you just want to melt it until it's smooth, lump free. And don't forget, if you're using the chocolate chips, make sure you have either an oil or a shortening. If you're going to use baking chocolate, well, you don't have to put the extra oil or shortening because that melts fairly thin. And if you want more information on baking chocolate compared to chocolate chips, make sure you watch my video that I have on that. Now you can see my chocolate is nice and smooth. It's a little bit on the thin side, I want it thin enough so it could go through a very thin pastry bag or either that or a cone that I'm going to use. This is a little bit too thin. I could work with it, but I would have preferred it just a little bit thicker. These are completely cool. I'm going to drizzle them with chocolate. And for you beginners out there, I like to use one of these cones, these parchment cones. You can use a pastry bag. You can just use a spoon or a fork and just drizzle it across. Or you can also use a Ziploc bag and just fill this with chocolate and just snip off the very tip down here and have your own little creative version of a pastry bag. So with this, I'm just going to, let me make sure I'm just going to drizzle across. Well, I want this tip a little bit smaller. Okay. Don't these look really great? So easy to make. Took me less than an hour to make them total. You saw only a few ingredients. Make sure you try them. They taste really good. Don't forget, subscribe to this channel for more videos. The recipe for this and all my other baking recipes can be found at cinnamonsweetshoppe.com. I'll see you next time.